Welcome to the Stochastic MLB DFS Strategy Show. I'm your host, Neil Orfield. You can find me on Twitter at PlayerQDFS. I'm here once again with Josh Engleman. You can find him on Twitter. Josh is helping me produce here. He just flipped us on the screen. You can find Josh on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Adam would never do anything like that. Not nearly as helpful as Josh is here. And of course, this show is sponsored by Caesars. We told you about what you can do, the deal you can get at Caesars yesterday. You can see it on the screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. It wasn't live when we did the show yesterday. It is live now. If you sign up at Caesars, it's available where you live. You bet $50, you're going to get $250 in bonus bets, $50 at a time over 5 weeks. Fantastic deal. We'll talk about it again later on. But if you haven't checked out Caesars, it's a deal that you're not really going to find all that often, deals of this caliber. So check it out if you haven't already. If you haven't already done so, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so you get alerts when our shows go live. If you haven't signed up for the Stochastic avatar to get in the Hall of Fame, go to stochastic.com/avatar, download, make it your avatar on DraftKings and FanDuel. Finish in the top 3 of a contest of 5,000 or more, you can get into the Stochastic Hall of Fame, win a free month of Stochastic Plus Platinum, get that shout out from Lofty. So if you haven't done so, again, it's at stochastic.com/avatar. You can get that avatar and all of the rules. Josh, how are you doing today?
I have less money than I did yesterday, which is kind of a bummer. Didn't hit anything of substance. Those couple of those games, or I got a lot of Mets, but they didn't seem to matter as much. Seattle started going crazy, and then night slate just did not go my way. So we're on to today, 12 gamer. Should be fun. We lost that Angels game yesterday, which was a bit of a unfun situation, considering I did have a stand on the Angels. Wish it would have went that direction. Wouldn't have mattered. Probably wouldn't have had any money either way. We're back for Tuesday. We've got the home run special something or other on DraftKings tonight. So 100K up top there. That should be fun.
Yeah, okay. That's a thing that's relevant to Josh, not relevant to most of us, that it's 100,000 at first, because Josh has actually been winning those this year. I also had a brutal day yesterday, just did not win anything, like got returned like 10% of what I put in or something. Just one of those days that nothing was going on. I saw the lineup at the top looked like it was just like lapping the field. The last time I checked was winning by like 20 fantasy points. I don't know if that's how it ended up, but was just had the nuts. And this is I played the mini Mega Max, so not the main contest anyway. But I was nowhere close. Somebody just asked, is Jordan on the shitter? No, Jordan is actually on vacation. This week we got Jordan, Lofty, and Greg all on vacation. As Ryan asked, is Jordan stuck on the shitter? No, I mean, he might be. He probably is. He's just not producing the show anyway. So
4 a.m. for Jordan right now. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he's asleep.
Yeah. Either asleep or stuck on the shitter. Hard to know for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we got 12 games to talk about here. Josh, have you looked at the weather, or do you have any other overarching thoughts on the slate?
I have not looked at the weather. I normally don't.
I haven't either. Okay.
It seems like everything's fine based on what I see right now. It doesn't look like we're going to have a single weather issue today. So that's a good start, at least.
Yep. All right. So we've got a full 12 game slate. It doesn't look like any serious weather concerns here. We can just start going game by game.
I'm in.
Pull it up. All right, first game we have to talk about here is St. Louis at Pittsburgh. Adam Wainwright on the mound for the Cardinals. Johan Oviedo for the Pirates. What's your level of interest in these pitchers?
It's weird. I don't ever get to Oviedo. It's just one of those things that happens. But today is probably not the day to get to either one of these dudes. Just on first blush, 2% ownership coming into Oviedo. 1% ownership coming into Adam Wainwright. Adam Wainwright slightly past his prime, I guess is probably the best way to say it. Oviedo could be fine in this scenario, but 4.5 run implied total for the Cardinals. We're not going to be shot. Like, we're not going to lack generic mid-tier pitching options today. I think this is probably a spot where you're looking more for offense than for pitching.
Okay. Brian Durkay says lineup generator, 10 of 14 nights, making money. Shit is fire. I mean, that's even with the lineup generator, like you can't expect to cash 10 of 14 nights. That is an insane run. But yeah, it's making great lineups. It's going to be better than the lineups that we're generally playing. But that's an incredible run. 10 of 14 nights cashing in a large field GPP. That's quite the run.
It's a great little heater there, huh?
Yeah, that is a heater.
It's fun. It's fun
of
to
course,
see that kind of stuff.
Just taking down first place once is going to be more money than just like if you're min cashing by like a lot. But still good to be like in contention there. Like if you're cashing you're not necessarily in contention, but probably if you're using lineup generator, the lineups you're making are should be in contention to potentially win if things bounce the right way. All right. You say that you're more interested in the bats here in the St. Louis Pittsburgh game. Tell me about your level of interest.
Depends on the team, honestly. Like, we've got the Pirates second in ownership right now, 10% aggregate. We have the Cardinals eighth at 5%. Pirates, 5-run implied total. That's what happens when you get to face Adam Wainwright. We got to remember, righty power does die a bit in Pittsburgh. 71 park factor for righties. But Pittsburgh is just so ridiculously cheap that if you're looking for a value stack, I think this is one of the first couple places you're going to look. They're number one in our top value metric. The most expensive hitter in the Pirates lineup today is going to be Brian Reynolds. Well, it's expected to be Brian Reynolds. He's 4,800. Think about some of the high-end teams that we have with multiple 6K guys. They don't even have a 5K guy. So affording the Pirates in this matchup against Wainwright is about as easy as it gets. You're probably looking towards the lefty power here. So like Jack Sawinski for 3,400 to me stands out as the clear best Pirate option. You're getting lefty righty on Wainwright. You're hitting from the left side in Pittsburgh, which is the infinitely better side to hit from a power perspective. If I'm going to any one individual bat for Pittsburgh, it's Jack Sawinski. But if you're trying to spend up to whoever you want, whether that's Zach Gallen at 11K, 10-7 for Blake Snell, 10-2 for Bailey Ober. Some of those things you're not doing. Or you're just trying to augment like a Braves stack or a Dodgers stack or a Padres stack. The Pirates are the easiest way to do that. I don't think the Cardinals are that bad of an option either. Decent value. The only guys you pay up for are Arenado and Goldschmidt, two guys that absolutely deserve their mid 5K price tags. So I like the idea of getting to offense in this one. Cardinals a little bit more muted because it's just a lot of righty bats, and that's tough in Pittsburgh, but the run total's still there for them. So my focus, at least a little bit, is on offense, not pitching.
Okay. How would you rank the four sides?
Ooh, good question. Good question. I mean, Wainwright and Oviedo are last. It's got to be Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Oviedo, Wainwright.
Incentium says eventually the Cardinals will get Wainwright his 2 wins. Is 200 the new 300 as far as wins for pitchers? Isn't it? It used to be like you get some pitchers have got 300 wins in their career. That feels like it's probably not going to happen. I mean, it'll happen maybe eventually, but certainly more difficult now.
Honestly, I didn't even really realize that like he was close. I don't pay attention to stats anymore. Like
he's
that.
Apparently, I had seen this on Twitter somewhere, and I just looked it up. So he's been stuck at 198 wins since June 17th. So been in a little bit of a wind route. I think they're just running him out there, trying to get him those wins at this point because he's not very good. All right.
No, he is not.
Toronto at Baltimore. We have Yusei Kikuchi on the mound for the Blue Jays, Grayson Rodriguez for the Orioles. What's your level of interest in these pitchers?
Grayson Rodriguez is at least mildly interesting, but he's 24% owned, which feels a little bit high here against Toronto. Now the price, 6,100. I don't remember who it was yesterday. Was it not Paxton? Who was in like the 7Ks that shouldn't have been yesterday?
7Ks that Christian Javier was in the 7Ks.
Maybe it's Christian Javier. That's actually probably a pretty decent comp for what we're doing here, because 6,100 is a price tag for someone with Grayson Rodriguez's upside. 6,100, like he can blow that out of the water if the strikeout.
Paul Blackburn, working. I think is.
Maybe it was Blackburn.
I don't know. Yeah.
24% owned. Like that's not where I have his true ownership. We have him 9% to be a top 2 pitcher, 20% top 2 value. That probably puts him somewhere in that like 10 to 15% range where he should be. I have it right around 10%. So he is over-owned, but he's over-owned for the reason of being really interesting value because he does have big-time strikeout stuff. I'm pulling up the prop now to just see what he's actually like pseudo projected for. Grayson Rodriguez line is set at 6.5 for strikeouts. The under is minus 160. So it's not even out of the realm of possibility they move that line by the end of it. I got it at 5.1. Maybe that's another reason why I don't expect him to be as owned tonight as he is right now. And I think that'll probably help at least a little bit, but this is a guy you should get to for value. It's just a terrifying spot against Toronto. Lots of power, not a lot of strikeouts, at least in the lineup that we have right now. On the opposite side for Kikuchi, 8,900, probably a bit more properly priced. I think he sort of looks about as like, it's hard to want to go to Kikuchi over Grayson Rodriguez. I don't think they're all that different of plays. Like they're both 9% top 2 pitchers, but one of them is $2,800 more expensive. So it really makes it difficult to ever want to prioritize Kikuchi. If you're going to anything, I think it's just easier for Rodriguez because of his price.
At the risk of getting roasted, because maybe this isn't as close as I think it is, who do you think is a better offense? Like who is scarier to you, Toronto or Baltimore?
Toronto.
Okay. That was my lean,
sure.
but like Baltimore, I feel like has been good enough this year that I thought maybe it's getting to the point that they're close to being as feared. Maybe that's just because I talked to Adam too much early on in the season. He had them in that like Dodgers Braves tier of like, yeah, you should always play at least a few lineups of the Dodgers, the Braves, and the Orioles. Aiden says Baltimore. I don't really have a strong.
I think it's close. Like I have this lineup, the projected lineup for Baltimore, I have as a 326 aggregate WOBA. So I weight each batter by the amount of plate appearances they'll have for the game. And then for the Blue Jays, I have it at 336. So about 10 points ahead. I have it at about 8 points of ISO. It's close. Like I don't want to undersell Baltimore or anything, but if I had to pick between the two, it's probably like 55-45 Jays.
Okay. So it wasn't a dumb question, at least. I'm glad to hear that.
No.
All right. Well, speaking of those offenses, are you playing either of them in these matchups today?
If I'm playing anybody, it's probably the Blue Jays, just because you get the benefit of being on the opposite side of Grayson Rodriguez's ownership. But we have the Jays 15th in top stack. We have the Orioles 20th. Neither one of these teams is pulling any ownership. It's possible I end up with one of these guys a little bit more. Like I do think both stacks are a little bit under-owned for what this is, but you're going to see that a lot on a 12-game slate. The like, I don't know, 14th best team is going to be like 2% owned and probably should be like 3% owned.
Right.
That's not like super actionable. I don't mind going to either side. I think it looks better for pitching. The real situation for me in this game is that I probably just want it to be quiet. I'd rather Rodriguez be indifferent and not have anything. I think that's the more likely scenario for me.
Okay. So with that context in mind, that you're not all that interested in any parts, how would you rank the 4 sides of the game?
I think it has to be Rodriguez first, just because of his price. It's just too cheap. It's one of those situations where, like, at 6,100, it's really hard to make a mistake. So I'm going to go Rodriguez, Blue Jays, Orioles, Kikuchi. Kikuchi's $8,900 price is just so off-putting for today.
Yeah, it doesn't seem necessary. That makes sense. All right. Third game on the slate, Washington at New York. Josiah Gray on the mound for the Nationals. Carlos Rodon for the Yankees. You play any of these pitchers?
I mean, I play Rodon so frequently. It's kind of crazy. 13% chance at top 2 pitcher for Rodon, 11% at top 2 value. That probably puts him somewhere in that like 15% range. I don't have the same sort of outlook on Rodon. Now he's 7,800, and the underlying talent of Carlos Rodon is high. We know who he is. We know what he's been. I don't know if he's that guy currently. Coming back from the DL once again, has been out since August 6th. Is he going to go deep enough in this game? I don't really think he is. This is another spot where I'd be very surprised if he's 25% owned as we get further along, unless we just assume he's good to go and is just going to go out there and have no limitations. But it doesn't strike me as a day where Carlos Rodon can throw 7 innings. So I'm probably not going to be there. I've got him in right now for a little over 4 innings. And if that's the case, I'll have a very small amount. I think he should probably only be like 5 to 10% in that area.
Okay. So do you think he has a possibility of getting to, does he have the possibility of getting to 6 innings? Get that quality start?
Probably not. Like, he threw 97 pitches on August 1st, came back on the 6th and threw 58 pitches and hasn't thrown since then. So 58 pitches on his last start, which was 16 days ago. It just doesn't feel like he's going to go anywhere. Like 80 feels like a ceiling today. The Yankees have nothing to play for. He's under contract for 5 more years or whatever. Like, what are these like extra pitches for him today do not seem like they're relevant.
Yeah. All right. Makes sense. Are you playing then any Nationals? I mean, it sounds like we're going to get the Yankees pen probably pretty early in the game. Or Nationals or Yankees all open up bats in this game.
No Nats bats for me. Even if Carlos Rodon is at least mildly limited, there's a 3.6 run implied total or somewhere in that neighborhood on the Nats. That does not paint them in a favorable light. Park helps at least a little bit for random power, but I think it's probably going to be a little bit easier to just avoid them. Maybe you want like a Stone Garrett one-off or something. Feel free. If you're going anywhere, it's the Yankees, who are essentially free today on DraftKings. 6,200 for Judge. Next most expensive bat in their current projected lineup is $4,300 Stanton. So if you want to go to the Yankees, you could have whoever you want. They're third in value. I actually have them second. They're fourth in ownership at 9%. And I think that's totally reasonable, but probably a hair overowned. This is a team that's really going to easily show up from an optimizer standpoint. I think they have a little bit more top stack odds than we do. We have them 11th. I actually have them 4th. I think the run total seems pretty good. They're like 3rd or 4th overall. I'm surprised to see them be 11th in top stack. This is a park that plays a big time power, 113 park factor to righties, 121 to lefties. If I'm going anywhere, I'm going to Yankees bats against Josiah Gray. Unfortunately for us, they're so cost efficient that the public is already there.
Okay. How would you rank the 4 sides of the game?
Yankees, Nats, Rodon, Gray, but like in theory, Rodon probably just shouldn't be ranked. I want to know more throughout the day, see if any word comes out. I just don't like at 7,800. He's cheap enough that you can mess around with it a little bit, but I just on a 12-game slate, I just don't think he's going to pitch long enough to matter.
Right. So it's like if you knew that he had the ability to pitch a full game, you would have interest. Like you would rank him probably somewhat
He'd be one
highly.
of the best pitchers on the slate today. Like that's how he is in the ownership. He's second in ownership right now. If I thought that were real, then that would like he would be the number one option in this game for sure. But I think we see that fall because I don't see a scenario where they're just letting him rip. There is every single sign for this game points in the opposite direction of him just getting like 100 pitch outing.
Right. Okay. So yeah, difficult to really rank him when you're just not anticipating much. We're getting some support for you in chat this morning. Vic David says Josh has strong takes this morning on players, and I agree. I feel like Josh always has pretty strong takes on players, so that doesn't strike me as all that odd. Sean agrees with you. I think that's the first time Sean V has ever agreed with you on anything. Yeah. So we're good luck tonight. A little bit of support there. But I did get this question from Andrew that I also wanted to throw out there. Back to the Pirates. Would you do them more as a mini or full stack? You have thoughts there?
I mean, no real preference. It's just changing the construction of everything else. If you want to go to a full stack, then you're probably going to be able to really pay up for the other 3 bats. And, you're probably going to like Blake Snell plus Giolito. If you're using a mini stack for the Pirates, it depends on how expensive the other 5 guys are for your lineup that dictates it. So I don't ever really look at it like that. They're both the same thing to me for the most part.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have Los Angeles at Cleveland. Bobby Miller on the mound for the Dodgers. Noah Syndergaard for the Guardians. What's your level of interest in these pitchers?
You'd be surprised to know that I have no level of interest for Noah Syndergaard. Not the guy that I want here against the Dodgers. Certainly much, 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 much worse than what's at the top of LA. Bobby Miller, 8,600. I have him where he should be about 6% owned. We have him 9% top 2 pitcher. So somewhere in that 5 to 10% range, maybe a little under owned. He's a guy that is available to you in your player pool. The park certainly helps. It plays down runs. It certainly plays down righty power, but there is not a priority here for Bobby Miller. We have Noah Syndergaard as a 23% to be a top 2 value pitcher. If that's something that is appealing to you, by all means. I do not agree. I would rather go to 2 other pay down options instead of Syndergaard, but none of those guys in the 5K range are like appealing options. And certainly Syndergaard, I have a hard time believing Syndergaard is a top 2 value a quarter of the time against the Dodgers.
I would imagine that you do have some interest in the Dodgers going against Syndergaard.
Yeah, have to. They're number 2 in our top stack tool. They're number 2 in mine as well. They are 3rd in aggregate ownership at 10%. So there's a lot of negative leverage in the stack score, but so much of that is just a tale of 2 different teams. The first 5 hitters in the projected lineup are ultra expensive. The bottom 4 aren't. You can mix and match and move this stuff around, and you don't have to get to like the ultra most expensive Dodger stack in the world. But I shouldn't have to tell anybody that Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Will Smith and Max Muncy all look good today. Max Muncy's 4,700 for a lefty righty third baseman in a park that is neutral to lefty power. So I think Muncy stands out. I think Freeman stands out. The top of the Dodgers lineup stands out. You just have to rank the Dodgers next to the Braves, next to the Astros, next to the Padres. These teams that have 1 through 5s that are pretty aggressively expensive. I think the Dodgers are probably like the second best option of all of those teams today. So it is a team that I will get to, but I very clearly prefer the Braves, and we'll get to them shortly.
What about, maybe you said this, are you playing any Guardians?
Probably not, although also a good value. They're 4th in our top value metric. Outside of Jose Ramirez, these guys are ultra cheap. Bobby Miller, not somebody that I'm terrified to go up against, but at the same time, 388 projected FIP via Steamer. He's a real dude. He's not a pitcher that you want to face. 158 x ISO to lefties, 118 to righties this season. You know, if you want to look at Ramirez, Cole Calhoun, Andre Jimenez, I think some of those lefty bats are worth a little bit of a peek. But in this park, I don't usually like getting to a lot of Cleveland.
How would you rank the 4 sides of the game?
Dodgers, Guardians, Miller, Syndergaard. And Syndergaard is way down the line.
Okay. So no
that dude.
No Syndergaard. Okay. All right. New York at Atlanta. Tyler McGill on the mound for the Mets. Bryce Elder for the Braves. Playing either of these guys?
Probably not. If you're going to anybody, it's Bryce Elder. Clearly, there's no chance you're playing Tyler McGill today. If you do, give up in DFS as far as I'm concerned, or play the contest that I'm playing. If you want to go to Elder, I think it's okay. Only a 4.25 run implied total here for the Mets. Not a fun spot for him. He should probably be like 5% owned. He's 1% owned. So not a lot of strikeouts in Bryce Elder's arm. You're just hoping for a longer start. Pitching is not the direction we're trying to go here today. Spoiler alert, it's the Braves bats like it normally is. First in top stack, dead last in value, number 1 in ownership, and they should be. They have got a run total like a run clear of the Dodgers today. The park plays up power. Tyler McGill plays up power by not being a very good starter. 195 x ISO to lefties this season, 212 to righties, striking out less than 20% to both hands. Is there anything we even need to say at this point? Like, this is very clearly the best offense you can get to. Michael Harris is still like relatively cheap in the 2-hole. I have nothing else to add. They're the top offense. If you could roster them, you should.
How long has Michael Harris been in the 2-hole? I didn't even realize that they moved him up.
About a week. He was like 3K last week because he was sitting in the 2-hole instead of the 9-hole. It's like, well, he's just the best, one of the best plays on the board across. Yeah, like, he's the best outfielder because you're not going to find anybody more cost effective at that spot. But yeah, the 4,700 now. Okay.
I mean, it should be. All right. Can you rank the 4 sides of the game?
I do actually want to add, I don't think it's crazy to get to the Mets. The park does play up power. I think there's a lot of raw power in this lineup. Nimmo, Lindor, Alonso, Vogelbach, Alvarez, DJ Stewart. They had a lot of hard hit balls yesterday. And you saw the runs get piled on. I don't think it's all that different. Like, maybe Elder's not super prone to getting blown out, but I don't think it's crazy to go to the Mets. They're 9th in ownership at 4.5%, 9th in stack score at 4.5%. They're basically properly owned. But if you want to get to a Mets stack, more than viable today. If we're ranking the game, it's Braves, Mets, Elder, McGill. I think that one's pretty clean.
Humboldt says, I'm 100% McGill, Josh. Do you think less of me?
I don't think less of you. I just don't think you like your money enough.
Yeah. Gotta be more protective of your money, probably.
Yeah. There's no, like, I don't think I would do that if this slate was just games that started at 7:20.
Sean says, Mets bats have been hot. I'm not going to fact check that, but I think that's funny. After a week ago, people in chat were saying, you can't play the Mets. They've given up on the season. Like, what are you doing? You can't play the Mets. So if they are hot, that's kind of funny. All right, let's do one more game before we take a break to look at our sponsors. We're going to be halfway through the slate. After this one, we have Boston at Houston. Tanner Houck on the mound for the Red Sox, Justin Verlander for the Astros. What is your level of interest in the pitchers?
Oh, let's see what we've got on this one. So Verlander, 9,500 here against the Red Sox. Not a ton of strikeouts in this projected Red Sox lineup. Verdugo, Devers, Turner, Yoshida all project like sub 20% strikeout rates in Steamer. And Verlander is not the same Verlander he used to be, unfortunately. 11% owned, though, at 9,500. You're like, he's probably properly owned. I have him at 14. What he should be at is 14%. He's right around that 11% number in the top two pitcher odds. So I think he is properly owned in the 10 to 15% range. Certainly a guy that's a part of your player pool and a guy that you need to get to. Very hard to want to prioritize him over, say, Lucas Giolito at $400 cheaper. Tanner Houck on the opposite side, 7,600. Terrible spot against the Astros. Facing the Astros is never a fun endeavor. They're just really good at the top of the lineup. Guys like Yordan Alvarez are absolutely terrifying. And Tanner Houck, 209 ex-ISO to lefties so far this season. That's 562 pitches. If you add in last year, it's still 185. Righties don't touch him. Lefties do. And spoiler alert, Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez are not going to be a fun adventure for Tanner Houck. So not a guy that I want to get to as a pitcher, but it's mostly righties on the opposite side. So it's not as if I really like the Astros, but if you want to go to Tucker and Alvarez as like a two-man pack or even just one-offing either one of those guys, they are in fantastic spots given Houck's problems with lefties.
Steven says Hawk is coming off of rehab. He took a line drive to the face, apparently. I did not remember. I don't think I saw maybe I did. I don't know how long ago it was, but does that affect things at all? Like, is he like a line drive to the face is not like the kind of injury that you really need to like recover from, like your body. So I don't know if he's, I think he's fully stretched out.
Not something that I'm worried about.
Okay. All right. What is so you have interest in mostly just the lefties for Houston? Are you playing any Boston against Verlander?
Probably not. I kind of want to just because I feel like he's prone to giving up home runs anytime that I have him, but I really don't see much of Boston. They're 17th in our top stack tool, 20th in top value. I'm more optimistic, but it's still 11th and 18th. Neither one of those rankings are rankings where like I expect that to be the team that I get to. Would it be okay? Yeah. Like, could I get a couple Red Sox shares? Maybe. I just don't see them as a priority. This is a tough game to get to offense.
Okay. How would you rank the four sides of the game?
Verlander, Astros, Red Sox, Tanner Houck.
Okay. Aaron Hines says he's going to have PTSD. I don't know if that was actually a joke. It might not be. I mean, maybe he will have some flashbacks on the mound. All right. We have made it through half of the slate. 6 games in. Let's talk briefly about our sponsor. I'll throw this up on the screen, Josh. Thanks for getting that in there. Caesars, it's a fantastic deal that we've got going on with Caesars right now. You bet $50, you're going to get $250 in bonus bets as a result. So all you have to do, bet $50. You're going to get $250 from Caesars that you can then play. They're going to come in $50 increments over the course of 5 weeks. So you don't get them immediately, but it's kind of nice that you get them spread out your luck a little bit. You're not just going to put $250 all in one place. You're going to have some time. You do have to use those $50 at a time when you within a week of when you get them. So keep that in mind. You do have to use the money. You can't save it up. But fantastic deal. Check it out if you haven't already. And of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Josh, have you oh man, did I get rid of the overlay here? Oops.
I'll hunt it down.
Are you able to play Caesars in your state, Josh?
Not yet. We're coming though soon. Potentially January will be legal in North Carolina. No later than June, from what I understand. I cannot wait to take advantage of every single one of these offers that exist. I have been chomping at the bit to be able to just like casually put in bets.
Me too. I feel like we're further away than you are. Like,
I'm surprised we got it. I mean, they are the state of North Carolina is not exactly progressive when it comes to things like this. We don't even have medical marijuana here. Like, it's an old timey state. They like their alcohol and tobacco here, and even some counties don't like their alcohol.
Oh, yeah. We now have legal alcohol on Sundays. We did not when I turned 21. So that's fun. But we now have the legal marijuana, which I enjoy. Like we have like THC drinks. You can just find them in liquor stores now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. We
fewer calories.
Nothing.
I'm a lightweight from that perspective, so been enjoying it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Red Skittle says Neil needs a few beers before shows. Got to get some spunk behind that voice. Yeah, I am super stuffed up right now, and also like it takes me a week or two to adjust to a new schedule. Like last week I was sleeping in until 10:30. This week I'm trying to wake up at 7:30, and I'm having trouble. Like I'm not a great sleeper, so I've been trying to fall asleep earlier, get good night's sleep, and it so far has not happened. Again, it takes me usually a week or two to adjust to the schedule, and being as stuffed up as I am, it's probably it's a little bit rough for me right now. But I'm doing my best for you, Red Skittle. So maybe it is beer that I need, maybe just more coffee, probably just more sleep.
No, you just need to start drinking beers at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I'm also not a day drinker. I don't enjoy day drinking like at all. It's rare occasions that I enjoy day drinking.
Oh, interesting. Very hard disagree here.
It just makes me sleepy. Like I don't want to, like after I have, maybe it's more so like if I take any kind of break. So if I have like a beer at 1 o'clock, if I go to a game and have a beer or two and then stop drinking, I just get super sleepy and don't enjoy myself. I don't know, probably the right occasion, maybe.
I can agree with you there, but yeah, if it's up to me, like there's nothing I love more than going to the bar at 10 o'clock to watch Liverpool play, having a couple drinks, and then like staying out, getting lunch, a couple more drinks. That's the way to do it. Because then I can go home. I can go to bed at like 7, a little banged up, and feel pretty good because I can get a full night's sleep.
10 a.m. for you is also like 2 o'clock for me. So
Fair.
I mean, it sounds ridiculous to me. Like get up at 10 a.m. Like why would you ever want to get up and drink at 10 a.m.? I could see it if I were a fan of soccer like Liverpool and I were super into a game that was happening in the morning. I could see that becoming a thing that I would enjoy. It always looks appealing in like Ted Lasso, everybody getting together to watch the soccer games.
Never saw it.
Yeah. Oh, you never watched Ted Lasso? No. What is wrong with you as a soccer fan?
That's why.
You think it's going to be upsetting to you, like that they don't play
I hated
the right way?
Sketch that he did like 8 or 9 years ago as him before the show ever started. I have no interest in like the mockery of it all.
I did not realize that was a thing. Like that it came from like an SNL sketch or something.
He did a sketch, I don't know, however long ago, and then the show ended up coming like a couple years after that. But yeah, he did it as a 5-minute bit as a part of something. I don't remember what it was, and I was just like, oh, don't ever show me that again. And they were like, oh, well, now it's a television show. Here's 10 episodes. Like,
now it's a hit television show, not just a television show that like took over the world.
Hard pass.
Man. All right.
Tammy Taylor over Minka Kelly and hard pass on Ted Lasso.
Wait, Tammy Taylor over Minka
Kelly? Well, I should have went Connie Britton over Minka Kelly. I crossed up character name and real name in the same sentence.
I got no issue. I got no issue with that take. I disagree with it. Like I go the other way, but like I think that's a totally fine take to have. It's not unreasonable to me.
My wife told me I'm wrong, so.
Okay. You were also, I know, throwing out Tyra as like just not even in the same tier.
Yeah.
Which I disagree with that.
I'm gonna catch some flack for this one. Not saying I would be tossing Tyra out of bed or anything like that. Blast and a half, probably a fun night. Not what I'm looking for. Not my cup of tea.
All right, that's fair. I feel like it's the same tier for me, but
definitely not Julie.
Who's Julie?
Coach's daughter.
Oh, I mean, she was also like 12 in the beginning of the show, wasn't she?
Well, I mean, she was a high school student in the show. Okay. I have no idea what she was like technically aged, but she was like a junior or some sophomore, junior, something like that.
Okay. In my mind, she was super young, but
we'll say college. We'll go to college, Julie. Season 5, season 6, when she's like sleeping with the teacher and stuff. Spoiler alert.
Oh, see, I stopped watching by then. I think they because at that point did they move on from the original characters? Like I guess I just assumed
everybody started to graduate and move off, and then Coach got booted from Dillon and went to East Dillon, and then Michael B. Jordan came in and he was the starting quarterback of the East Dillon Lions. And then
I didn't even see. I definitely never got to that part of the show. It was so I actually was introduced to the show by an ex-girlfriend who was like super into it back like after it came out, and like she was the first person who I'd ever even heard of the show from. So I don't remember if we binged it together or if I binged it separately after she like introduced me to it, but I think I watched a lot like early on, and then probably the show was still going at that point, and I just never came back to it after we broke up. But
I was watching that live as it was happening, and they bounced that show around from channel to channel. It ended up on some like weird DirecTV only channel for a little bit, which was like super bizarre. DirecTV had their own like content channel, and it was
Friday Night Lights was on
to
it?
them. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
I think it was DirecTV.
Maybe that's when I started.
There was an exclusive channel that it was on that like you didn't get if you didn't have something specific. I'm almost in my mind it's DirecTV something, but this was also like, you know, in the mid 2000s.
So let me ask you this: would it be worth it for me to go back and like watch all of the later seasons?
Yeah. If you liked the first couple, then yeah, like you're happy to be back in that universe. Like you're bouncing around with some of them in college. Julie's at college. Matt's in Chicago. Landry's still around. He ends up playing for East Dillon.
Oh no.
Tammy's obviously still around. Tim's still around for bits and pieces.
Huh. I don't think I ever got beyond like those players being in high school still. Maybe I'm
Street's basically gone. Smash is basically gone.
I remember Street playing. Was it Murder? Is it called Murder Ball? The like
wheelchair football or whatever.
Yeah.
He does that, and then I don't know. There are some other storylines for him that pop up.
Maybe free. I'll think about going back to it. Now that you just gave me that huge spoiler in the middle there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the slate. Seattle at Chicago. Brian Wu for the Mariners. Mike Clevenger for the White Sox. Level of interest in the pitchers?
No, although we do have 14%. I'm on like a completely different planet ownership wise than what we have right now. I think I know why. I think I know who's driving that. By the way, I'm getting to Josiah Gray. I didn't say that before. I don't know why it's happening, but it is happening. I don't expect that to hold, but I'm just saying that right now. We've got Wu at 14% ownership. We have him 11% chance to be a top 2 pitcher, 11% chance to be top 2 value. He's 7,600 here against the White Sox. Maybe I just have him not going deep enough into this game, but I'm not seeing him in the same way. So let's look at him. Okay, so he has not started since August 3rd. Didn't throw a minor league game, so I don't know if he threw any sort of like simulated games or anything, but he has not thrown a pitch in the majors since August 3rd. And that was 84 pitches. So I don't think that Brian Wu is going to be going full stop deep into this game either. If we look at playoff odds, I have no idea what Seattle's record is. Mariners are 65% to make the playoffs. So Wu, young, obviously. Maybe he can go, maybe he goes 5 innings. I don't think that 14% ownership is probably all that valid for what we're expecting to get out of him. I don't think it's that kind of matchup either. So pass on Wu, pass-ish on Clevenger. I think Clevenger is just like a guy that's 5 to 10% owned today.
Okay. Bats in this game.
I have 10 Mariners stacks. I've got a couple White Sox stacks. White Sox are cheap, so they're very easy to get to and unowned. Mariners are 5th in ownership, but they're both things. They're top 4, or they're 4th in top stack. They're 7th in top value. Very, very easy to roster, and I think you should be getting to some. They just naturally work as filler, and Mike Clevenger is not very good. So Rodriguez, Suarez, Raleigh, who had a massive day yesterday. I think Seattle is perfectly fine. I think 7% owned is exactly where Seattle should be. You should be in and around that area. If you're very pro Seattle, go for it. If you're not, I'm totally okay with staying away. They just look like a team that has to be in the discussion.
Okay. How would you rank the 4 sides of the game?
Mariners, White Sox, Clevenger, Wu.
All right. My Twins are playing Milwaukee. Bailey Ober on the mound for the Twins. Wade Miley for the Brewers. What's your level of interest in these pitchers?
And Twins. Bailey Ober is 10,200 today. That is too expensive of a price tag for Bailey Ober. I don't have him even remotely close to projected near everyone else that's around him from a salary perspective. 9% chance to be a top 2 pitcher, 2% of value. He is unowned and for all intents and purposes should be. So I will skip Bailey Ober for today. I will probably have a little bit of Wade Miley and hate myself for it. 6,300, 9% owned. He should probably be about 10% owned. Just another guy. There's like 10 dudes. Basically, like everybody's 6,900 or below. Like if you want a couple shares of that guy as the value play, other than really like McGill and Syndergaard, basically anybody that's ever played for the Mets. If it's McGill or Syndergaard, I don't want it. Otherwise, I'm okay.
Okay. How about the offenses?
I got your Twins.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I do.
Pretty righty heavy lineup that we're projecting.
That probably has a little bit something to do with it, just on the surface. The lineup that I have in right now would be 8 righties plus Matt Wallner. 135 over the past 2 seasons, but if we want to look at just this season, no real strikeouts for Miley. 160 x ISO to lefties, 180 to righties. If you add in another season, it's probably like around 170 x ISO to righties. You're going to get a lot of righties, and you're going to get righty power. Luplow, Correa, Royce Lewis, Ryan Jeffers. Lots of power in a park that plays up power. 109 park factor to righties, 110 to lefties. I have 23 Twins 5-mans right now. They're 2% owned. I've got like 10 plus. This is going to be one of the stands that I take, or at least I hope one of the stands that I take, because I think it really fits against Miley.
Steve Brown says, did Josh just pull an Eric Lindquist? I think it's because you did an impression. I did not know the Twins impression, the way you said that. Is that from a movie or something?
I don't even know what I said. Oh, when I said Twins? And Twins, was that Bud Light, Coors Light, whatever?
Is that I don't even know what that is. I don't know the reference. It's a commercial reference.
Yeah, to be like, girls that were fairly well endowed in the chest area, bouncing around. You get 2 beers, 2 everything.
And they say that in the commercial though, and Twins.
Yeah.
Okay.
You really don't remember that? This was like a very prevalent whatever beer commercial for a while.
I don't remember that.
I don't know it.
I've got a bad memory anyway, so if I see
it's not really like one of those things you need to maintain.
Right. Also, yeah, just push it aside, apparently. All right. How would you rank the 4 sides of the game?
Let's go. Boy. I mean, for me personally, Twins bats, Brewers bats, Miley, Ober. I just don't know how you could pay 10-2 for Ober.
I mean, nice positive leverage in the top pitchers tool. That's the case to be made for him. It's just that
like I have him 6% and he should be, and he is 1%. Like that's positive leverage. I just don't know if that's like the actionable kind.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a fair assessment. I don't know that I'm actually going to get there. All right. 4 games left. Cincinnati at Los Angeles. We have this game we talked about yesterday. Graham Ashcraft. I don't remember if he was actually our projected pitcher yesterday, but Graham Ashcraft for the Reds. Lucas Giolito for the Angels. Tell me, reiterate your level of interest in the pitchers.
Yeah, it looks a lot like it did yesterday. Lucas Giolito at 9,100 against the Reds. Great strikeout matchup. He's 37% owned. That's the most on the slate, and he should be. Do I think he's a little over-owned? Maybe. I think we're a little crazy. 16% top 2 pitcher, 7% value. This is a really nice strikeout matchup for Giolito. So I do think that we're a little bit light on his upside, I guess. I'm pulling it up right now just to see where the strikeout prop is for today. I don't remember what it was yesterday. Giolito over under 7.5 strikeouts. A little bit of juice to the under, which surprises me a bit. Maybe we'll see that climb because I do see this as a really nice strikeout matchup for him. But he's 9,100. Like that price tag is just so easy to get to. While I don't think maybe instead of 37% owned, he should be 30. I think that would be pretty realistic at that point, but I think he's the best high-end guy you can get unless you're going all the way up to Blake Snell. You get the Marlins on the opposite side, but in combination of price and ceiling, it's Giolito. Just overall output, it's probably Snell. I like both guys a lot and have both guys a lot. I do not have interest in Graham Ashcraft.
Did they leave Giolito? Was it the exact same price yesterday?
I don't remember.
Okay,
somewhere in that neighborhood. He was cheap-ish yesterday.
I'm just curious, based on like, would DraftKings have changed it like for the exact same matchup? I guess it's a different slate, so it might have made sense anyway. But just curious how their pricing works. All right, how about any bats in this game?
Yeah, I'm going to the Angels bats. I was going there yesterday. I'm going to do it again today here against Ashcraft. I have 20 Angel stacks as of right now. 7th in top stack, 12th in value. They're 6th in ownership. So they might be a tad over-owned based on our stack score metric. But Ashcraft gives up a lot of power to righties, and the Angels have a lot of power from lefties, which is oddly appealing to me. Like, I don't care if Ashcraft gives up power to righties or lefties if it's Ohtani. It's Ohtani. Like,
Right.
he's better than the average person that Graham Ashcraft faces. Moustakas has power as a lefty. Moniak has power as a lefty, but you get like a 204 projected ISO for someone like Hunter Renfroe if he's in the lineup. You still get Nolan Schanuel in the leadoff spot potentially. Brandon Drury has power as a righty. There's just a lot of power in this Angels lineup. A lot of boom bust for the Angels, and that's what I'm looking for in a GPP. So give me Angel stacks, give me Lucas Giolito, give me all things Angels. I assume they're playing today. I assume the water isn't as bad as it was. I don't know too much about it. But I hope they play, because if they do, they're one of my favorite teams.
All right. How would you rank the four sides?
Giolito, Angels, Reds, Ashcraft.
Are you going to the No, you don't live in Atlanta. I was going to ask you if you're going to the Braves game.
I wish I was.
There's no special occasion for wearing the jersey. As I was saying earlier, I don't think I've ever seen you in a baseball jersey. But
I've worn this one, and I have a blue version of this one too, also Phil Necro, that I wear from time to time. I had a Jason Hayward one that I used to wear, but obviously hasn't been on the Braves for a minute. I wish I were going to the game. No, this is the first thing I saw when I opened my closet.
What do you think of the of Brick's proposal that it's only appropriate to wear a jersey if you reverse the age divided by 2 + 7? So I guess it's age multiplied by 2 - 7. It has to be that much older than you to be able to wear the jersey. Do you abide by that?
I do and I don't. Like, I probably wouldn't wear. I don't think there's a scenario where, outside of like a throwback type scenario, I would wear a jersey to like a basketball game. And I don't think I would ever. But like for soccer, it's so a part of the culture.
Wearing the jerseys.
Everybody has kits. Like, that's not. There's probably more kits in a crowd than not kits at a game.
Yeah.
For grown adults, especially like people are wearing old ones. Like, if you have one from the 90s, like I buy retro old kits too. So I'll buy a jersey from like 95 of some old Liverpool player. So in some sports, I totally agree. In some sports, I disagree.
I come down to just wear whatever you want. Like, I'm not a jersey guy. I'm not going to go buy an Ant jersey, but I got no issue if you want to. Like, I don't really care.
I just don't think basketball jerseys are like naturally wearable.
That's also true. Like, guy my age, I'm just not wearing a basketball jersey ever. So
no, like, it's just like, I'm not wearing sleeve. Like, if I were ripped up, maybe I would, but like, that's just not a jersey that looks good on most human beings. Football jerseys, great. Like, get it. They should sell more jerseys of like offensive and defensive linemen for regular people. Just like,
he's got the same body type.
You get some 300-pound dude should definitely dress as like the left tackle for the Browns.
It's funny. I mean, I say that they've got the same body type, but actually it's like, we're just fat and they're like super strong. Like, they're like huge, but like jacked below the fat. That's funny though. Yeah.
Like, if I were good point. Me, but 300 pounds back in the day, I would have loved to have a Trent Williams jersey for the Reds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, no, I was right at that point in time. That's what that jersey would have been. Like, I think that's cooler that we don't do that.
Yeah,
we should do it, and I think it'd be cooler if we did do it.
Yeah, agreed. All right, 2 games left: Kansas City and Oakland. Angel Zerpa on the mound for the Royals. Spencer Watkins for the A's. What's your level of interest in the pitchers?
Okay, so this is going to be an interesting talking point. I don't have either one of those pitchers. So I'm checking MLB.com now to see what's listed there. There's been some ambiguity. So Zerpa is listed on MLB.com. We don't have Zerpa. No one is listed for the A's. I have Kyle Muller in for the A's. So I don't know how this is going to shake out, but let's say this. If it's Zerpa and he's $5K against Oakland, he's the best value pitcher today. He's the cheapest pitcher that you can get to. It's in a park that's great for it, and Oakland stinks. Like, if you're paying down, the answer is Zerpa, even though he's not very good. Similar story on the opposite side. If it is Kyle Muller, he's 5,400. The Royals aren't very good. It's in Oakland. Both of those guys look better than Adam Wainwright. I think both of them, they don't have the same sort of upside as Grayson Rodriguez, because neither one of these guys have strikeout stuff, but they're just as good of like raw points plays as Grayson Rodriguez is to me, and he's 24% owned. These guys aren't going to pull a ton of ownership, I don't think. Maybe they do. Maybe we'll see that on the deeper dive later tonight. But I like the pitching here if you're just trying to save to get to Atlanta, the Dodgers, the Astros, whatever. Are they good? No, but they're better than McGill or Syndergaard or Wainwright. Like, just take the youth. I don't even know if these guys are young, honestly.
DraftKings says it is Zach Greinke and Hogan Harris as the pitchers. That's different than what you said, right?
I had Zerpa, Kyle Muller.
Yeah, and Fantasy Pitcher has
Zerpa is
Watkins.
listed on MLB.com. So
okay,
that one I mostly trust.
We'll know closer to lock. I guess we don't need to try to figure it out now because
yeah,
we've got 2 more shows coming on later today. But keep your eye out for who's actually pitching. And of course, DraftKings will update as well. So
there's a decent chance you like at least one, if not both, of the pitchers from this game for value because both teams suck.
How about those shitty offenses? Are you playing any?
I'll probably have a little bit of the Royals. I do every night. I've become Adam in that regard.
Oh no,
they're 7th in ownership, neutral. Relative to stack score, basically neutral. They're fine. I've got a couple Royal stacks. I don't have any A's stacks. I don't anticipate getting to A's stacks. It might happen. Who knows? But if I'm getting anywhere, it's the Royals. But I really prefer the pitching.
Matthew Bellman in chat says Zerpa versus Harris. Zerpa very easily could be opening for Greinke. Okay, that'd be interesting.
This is just it's a mess.
Yeah.
We just need more information right now. We don't have it.
How would you rank the 4 sides of the game?
If Zerpa can just be himself, it's him first, then probably whoever's throwing for Oakland second, then Royals bats, then A's bats.
Okay. Texas at Arizona. We've got John Gray on the mound for the Rangers, Zach Gallen for the Diamondbacks. Any interest in these pitchers?
Gray is 6,700. That's not a problematic price tag, and the park certainly limits power. Maybe John Gray isn't the John Gray of old any longer. I can handle that, I guess, in this park. 88 park factor to righty power, 85 park factor to lefty power. But Gray is just not the same guy. Basically a 20% K rate to both hands. Problems with lefty power. So someone like Corbin Carroll really stands out against Gray. I think he's a completely reasonable value play in that 5 to 10% range at 6,700. Add him to the list of some of those other guys that aren't Grayson Rodriguez. Not that Grayson Rodriguez isn't a very good play, but he's the only guy that's getting the ownership. On the opposite side for Gallen, he's the most expensive pitcher at $11K. That is quite the healthy price tag. It's a really not fun matchup against Texas. Not a ton of Ks, lots of talent. Gallen's good. Strikes guys out like a 26% K rate. That's usually nice, but maybe not so much in this park. Maybe the park helps to limit it. I just don't want to pay the full freight for Gallen. I think he's a little under-owned. Similar to the way that Bailey Ober was. And I'd much rather get to Gallen than Ober, given the $800 price difference. I think that's a pretty clean gap, but I don't know. 10% Zach Gallen seems fine.
Steve Lewis says, does anybody want to AI an image of 300-pound Josh? Yeah, that'd be in a jersey too, in a lineman jersey. That'd be a cool image. Bellman says, only here for the DJ Stewart diapers narrative. Did he just have a kid or something? I don't know what the DJ Stewart diapers narrative is. So I feel like we're letting you down, Bellman. Sorry.
No clue.
It was a Coors Light commercial, Brian says.
Okay.
I feel like there's something else that I was going to respond to, but whatever. I forgot what it is, so I'm just going to move on. Any interest in the bats in this game?
Not really. Diamondbacks are 16th in ownership. Rangers are 20th. I don't want to target against Zach Gallen. Like, if you get to the Rangers, you're getting there because there's talent and power at the top, but it's not a good spot. Their run total doesn't look good. And similarly, like, I have enough respect for John Gray to not get absolutely bludgeoned. And I don't think that Arizona is that good on their own, but lefty power, like Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, that's probably Alec Thomas, maybe. Like, those guys, I don't mind grabbing individually. I think Corbin Carroll really stands out as one of the better plays today. If he's in the leadoff spot at 5,600, off of a day off as well. I think he was off yesterday. Yeah, he was off yesterday. I like that spot for him against Gray.
How do you rank the 4 sides of the game?
Ooh, really hard. Because it's all sort of the same, different kind of unappealing.
Okay.
Probably there's not enough separation for this to be as extreme as it sounds, but probably Gallen, Gray, Rangers, Diamondbacks.
Here is Clayton says Braves games insufferably hot this week. I wonder if it ever gets to like is there a tipping point where it no longer like helps bats that it is so hot because the batters are just like exhausted? There's probably not that kind of tipping point, but I'm like, man, I know heat generally is good for like hitting dingers, but like
in my experience, there was never a situation where I was too hot to hit But there were definitely plenty of situations where you're too hot to want to be in the field.
Yeah, I guess that's something like you wear yourself out in the outfield, and then potentially like you just like your body is zapped of energy at some point. But probably I've never heard of that being a thing. So my guess is there's not a tipping point. You already ranked the 4 sides, right?
I did.
All right, then we have one final game: Miami at San Diego. Jesus Luzardo on the mound for the Marlins. Blake Snell for the Padres. And I think that is real today, right? We actually have Blake Snell today.
Yes.
What's your level of interest in the pitchers?
Love Snell. It's Giolito and Snell as the top 2 options today. I don't think it's particularly close. 10,700 for Snell. 21% chance of being a top 2 pitcher. I have it at 25, but we're talking about essentially the same thing. I'm pulling up Snell's projection for strikeouts right now, but he's the guy that you should be paying up for. If you want to get to one of the 10K guys, I think he's on a completely different planet than the other 2, especially because 1, he's in a pitcher's park, and 2, he's facing the Marlins, who are certainly better now than they were, but this is also a team that's projecting with a 3.3 run implied total. It is not a good spot. So please get to Snell at 24% owned. I think that's about proper. If you want to go over that number, I have 34%, and I couldn't be happier. Let's see. Snell projected for 6.5 Ks, minus 152 to the over. So we're expecting even more there. I got him projected for 6.6. Love Snell. Luzardo on the opposite side, 9,100. Obviously a tough matchup here against the Padres. Not a lot of strikeouts. Luzardo, his strikeout prop is set at 5.5. Really equal action on both sides. 5% owned, 12% chance at a top 2 pitcher. He's probably a little bit under-owned, excuse me. He's probably more interesting than Justin Verlander today in a weird way. Pretty comparable. Probably about right due to ownership. But if you want to go to like 10% Luzardo and get a little weird against the Padres, not my least favorite thing in the world, but tough spot.
Andrew asked, could Gallen be a pivot off Snell with his low ownership? Yeah, I'd say in a chalky lineup, in an otherwise chalky lineup, if you want to pivot to the lower owned pitcher, you could.
Yeah, I mean, look, Zach Gallen should be slightly more owned than 5%, but I would rather pivot somewhere else than from Snell to Gallen and vice versa. There's nothing wrong with it. Look, Zach Gallen will beat Snell probably 35% of the time or something like that. So it's there. It's okay. That wouldn't be the first place I would be looking to make that switch.
Okay, fair. What's your level of interest in the bats in San Diego?
Well, there's certainly no level of interest for me for the Marlins bats. That should be not all that surprising. I don't really want to attack Luzardo either. 21st in top stack, 24th in value for the Padres. I just don't really see it. Run total doesn't look good in this game. Park doesn't look good. If you're going to anything, you're going to just raw power, San Diego talent. But I think this game is mostly a stay away other than Snell.
How would you rank the 4? I mean, I guess that kind of answers it. So Snell number 1. Do you want to rank the other 3 sides, or is it just a stay away?
Snell, Padres, or Luzardo, sort of like whatever you want out of that scenario. And then Marlins bats, a very clear last.
All right. So we made it to the end of the slate. 3 favorite pitchers.
Snell, Giolito. If Zerpa is starting, then Zerpa.
3 favorite stacks.
As of right now, the Atlanta Braves, the Minnesota Twins, and the Angels.
Love it. All right. And then home run pick.
Okay.
There's no Coors, so you can do anybody.
Did Tristan Casas hit a dong yesterday?
I don't remember.
I doubt it. I think I had the Red Sox. They had 4 runs, so I doubt it. I'm pulling that up first to find out if we were right before I give my pick. Box score. Nope. Duvall homered. Shame. Okay. All righty. Game home runs. Top 10. Let's see what we got. All right. Home run for today. Let's go. You know what? This one's easy for me. I shouted it out a little bit earlier. It's not somebody that anybody else is picking today. Give me Jack Sawinski. Jack
Sawinski. All right. I like that. Let's see. Where is he in our... We've got him with a 22% chance of hitting a home run. So that's actually not that low on the board. There is one bat that stands out above all others in our home run model. Matt Olson, 38% chance of hitting a home run. And I just cheat. I know you said yesterday you don't want to just like go with the obvious guy. Greg said the same thing. You guys are like, you're redoing the rules here. Adam and I set the rule of just no course. I'm just playing within the rules. and the rules tell me that I can play Matt Olson.
No issue with it. He's obviously in my top couple. I want to see, he might be second for me. I'm trying to find out.
Okay. We've got him first.
I think he's third for me.
We've got him first by 6%. 6% over the next guy, which is Max Muncy.
Oh, I don't even think I had Muncy in my top 10.
Wow. Again, though, as I said yesterday, it's possible that this is not updated. I think it's possible this is based on yesterday's data to some extent. So
I have Judge, Devers, and Olson as my top 3. Olson was third. That's lefty righty on Tyler McGill, lefty righty on Verlander, and then righty righty for Judge on Gray. But it's Judge.
You say do you say you have Devers in the top 3?
I do.
We've got him all the way down at 17% chance.
Yeah,
I can't tell if
Devers against Verlander, like that feels like it's a park neutral spot. Like that feels like a pretty tasty home run spot for him.
I mean, we have the updated pitches in there, so maybe it is updated info. I guess I'll check later tonight. Probably get an idea of what, I don't know what time we update this info. All right, that'll do it. So I'm going Matt Olson. You're going Jack Sawinski for the home run picks. As I told Adam, you don't get bonus points for making a bad pick though. You know, Adam took his guy, Gunnar Henderson, who had like a 17% chance of hitting a home run, and then he wanted to victory lap it because his guy hit a home run. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't get extra points just because he had low chance of hitting a home run.
I want to look up one thing before we leave. Okay. Yeah. I want to look up unless you have it in front of you right now. Do you have the Jack Sawinski home run odds?
I do. So we have, I believe it was 17% chance. Let me wait. I had it a second ago.
He's plus 450 on FanDuel.
We've got him 22% chance of hitting a home run.
Yeah, plus 450 on FanDuel. That's what I'm taking right there.
That's
the kind of stuff I'm going to be able to bet on in 6 months.
And when you're taking the actual home run prop, you do get bonus points for taking a less likely home run because you're getting better odds there. So yeah,
you sure do.
If it does work out, and people bet it, they're gonna
maybe later today I'll set it up so that I have the same odds. Right now I just have it as like aggregate home runs. So like whoever I have projected for the most home runs today. So it's 0.06 per plate appearance or something, whatever it ends up being. I'll set it up for percentages so we could like walk through it. And if I have any that stand out towards the lines, we could talk about it.
Pat Fitz says that he got second in the quarter jukebox yesterday. So yeah, if that's I'm assuming that's a contest of 5,000 or more. You just got to tweet it at Stochastic HOF on Twitter. Make sure you have a screenshot of your lineup with the Stochastic avatar to qualify as well. But yeah, that's awesome, man. Glad to hear that.
Good stuff.
All right. Any final words, Josh?
No, I don't have anything. I'm back for the deeper dive later tonight. Bellman, I think, but I could be wrong. And then strategy show tomorrow is just me, correct? You are not here?
Just you tomorrow, yeah. So you'll get to do your it's similar to your process show, right?
Yeah. And then I don't know who's going to be there Thursday. I won't be here for Thursday's show, but
okay.
I don't know who's in for me.
I will be back for Thursday. I'm not sure who we got filling in for you. So yeah, maybe I guess it's probably you and me on Friday. Probably when
I'm definitely on it Friday. So if you are, then it's us.
I'm guessing it's me as well. But yeah, we'll have time to figure that out. Yeah, so check out Josh on Twitter. He posts all the stuff there at Josh Engleman. I'm going to be back in 4 hours. I'm going to be doing a best ball stream with our old friend Chris Spags. Really looking forward to doing that one. So if you want to catch up with our old friend Spags, join me for that best ball stream later. Should be a good time. And then of course, Josh will be on the deeper dive tonight. I'm assuming I'll be on live before lock. So we'll see you again later on in the evening. Thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, please do hit that like button. Helps us out quite a bit. Good luck today.